So for any international organization, if we are doing a business or if they migrated their process to India, somebody in the UK, customers in the UK, they make a payment. And we monitor and we execute the payment for us, for them in India. It's all systematic. You don't have to be directly, go to the branch or meet the customer face to face. Just do all the payments. And if customer make a payment and if there are any issues, or the payments go through, classic example HDFC. If you are making a payment through HDFC through net banking, it has to go through some engine and then it execute the payment. Hence, that those payment services is provided from India. And this is not specific to NatWest Group, this is specific to any organization for that matter. Execute of payments, we call it, there are a lot of payment engines, we call it as wire transfer. Whatever you are doing payments at the moment, GPay or HDFC, net banking or whatever the net banking, we call it as wire transfer. So those kind of services provided from India. Financial crime. Any guess on what is financial crime? Why guess?
Making a false statement that we have paid to the concept receiver.
It's a good try. Any other case? Money laundering, yeah, spot on. Okay. Financial crime, any organization, especially financial institutions, should not support the transactions that is transferred to criminals. Criminals could be terrorists, criminals could be somebody who is doing illegal. So every international business or international bank or the financial institution should have financial crime department within their organization. If not, if they fail to have this financial crime, the bank's license will be cancelled by the regulators. And what is financial crime? Basically, I am a customer of HDFC. I am trying to send a payment to you, for example. The team, financial crime team, monitor whether the person I am sending is a legal person, and the receiving also is a legal person. So they monitor all the aspects. They monitor the transactions. I am the customer of HDFC. Every month I get 10,000 into my account. One fine day I got 1 crore. Something wrong, right? So they monitor that. It's all about avoiding the financial crime by supporting financial crime through that financial institutions. On the high level. Any question on financial crime?
So, what if a person makes a wrong payment to those illegal persons?
That will fall under payments. So when there is no issue with the payments, it all will go through straight through. But if there is an issue, for example, you are trying to transfer the payment to me and you missed my initial or name, the payment will be held by the bank. Now there is a payments team who investigate and contact you to understand who is the correct recipient of the payment and they transfer it. So that falls under payment. They call it as payments and payments investigations. But financial crime is predominantly trying to avoid the funds that goes to criminal. Criminal could be terrorist or anything. Any questions on financial crime? So these one of the service that we provide for India. Information security, which I am predominantly into. Data technology is evolving, right? So nobody can stop hackers to hack your data. If it's a financial institution, it's all the more reason why you should stop hacking the data, because it's all customer data. It has personal information like date of birth, name, address, and the transaction details. So any organization, it's not only international banks, but any organization, they need to protect their data for customers and employees. The information security team who predominantly work on avoiding those hackings. They put controls in place. They ensure they have different processes to avoid any hacking. So this information security mixed of technical and non-technical team. The technical team ensure if there are somebody trying to hack, stop them. Non-technical team or predominantly operations team ensure that all internal controls are in place. So we call it as information security or more of data information security. Yeah. Any questions on information security? You understand what is this? At least at a high level or no? Fraud prevention. So you mentioned about the wrong payment, right? But the fraud happens every now and then. I'm not sure you guys have experience. Any idea you would have learned about supply chain services in your MBA? Not really. So basically supply chain services is somebody who work with the organization and other organization about the contract. Example, if I'm running a company and I want to connect with somebody in a different company for asking any services, then there is a contract involved. So supply chain services involve all the contracts, they build the contracts and they work for different organizations and get that services provided. Risk control audit should have everybody know. Whatever the work these functions do, this risk control and audit team actually ensure whatever processing is as expected or they are processing as expected. Or they find that this is not going well, ensure we have a proper process in place. HR, anybody from HR function or a specialization? Okay, it's our first year, so your specialization is not started. HR, human resource, all recruitments, identifying the talent, getting all people, trainings, etc. from HR perspective. And finance, there are a small number of teams in finance where they manage all salaries, payments, etc. So this is predominantly at the high level, the key departments or services functions within the organization. These are the services that we provide to our company in the UK or any organization. Okay, any questions?
Sir, sometimes if I go to ATM and withdraw the money, there may be some mistakes and I don't get my money, sir.
Yeah.
At that time, which department will be taking care of? Because after some time, I get my money back. So, which department will be taking care of it?
So basically the payments team will take care of it. You have to raise a complaint and then we have payments and some functions within the payments. They will investigate your case and they will confirm all those.
And if I'm getting into a company means they will hire me for all those things, sir. Departments.
It depends on your skill. If you have a technology skill, then they will recruit for you. Or it depends on where the requirement is, they will accordingly place you. But yes, if you are recruited by any international banks in India, you will be placed somewhere other in this all departments. For me, in my experience, I started with payments and then I was with financial crime and then fraud prevention and then retail, now in information security. So not stick to one area, into multiple areas. So I don't be there in any department for more than 3 years. Because you will stop learning if you are stuck there. You have to move on. Okay. Any questions before we move on? We call it as wire transfer. It's all online.
End of the day, you are providing all the services as a back-end services only from India.
Okay.
Not doing any front-end business.
No. We are not meeting customers in India. Customers are not there in India. All customers are in their respective country, but we provide back-end operations and we call it as all back-end operations.
What is the reason not starting a front-end business?
It's up to the bank. See, in India we have a lot of financial institutions, right, and the competition is high. Certain banks think that they only want to focus certain group of customers, so they don't want to set up in India. For example, HSBC, we have branches in India and we have customers in India. For example, Standard Chartered, we have customers in India. It depends on the company's strategy, how they want to place it. There are few companies which open, we call it as retail bank in India, and they operate. A few companies, they just focus on their own organization.
Sir, if one of your customers' information we have, what steps will you take around to ensure the trust of the customer?
should not be hacked in the first place, but that's a good question. If it's hacked, first we need to inform the regulators. Okay. Who is our regulator in India for banks? Yeah. Likewise, every country has regulators. First, we need to inform regulators that something has happened. In the meantime, we need to ensure that we stop such information hacking further. Fix it. Yeah. Then investigate on why it has hacked and what is the impact. Inform your regulator and fix it so that not further data has been breached, and then we need to also inform our customers. These are the key things that we need to do. And if it's hacked because of our own weak controls, the probability of getting a license cancelled is high. Okay. Anything else before I move on? And these are all something you will get to know when you are enter into the organization. Okay. So all not rocket science. Okay. So you will get to know when you enter. But the next which I am going to cover is very, very critical for you. It's all about personal development, your career development. What is that you need to focus on to get into the organizations? Say through the interviews. Okay. That is key. This is something you will learn. But I still want to let you know so that you have that exposure. It's more. Yeah. Next. Okay. Now this is very simple. And exposure. Things are there. Performance. You need to perform to survive in the life. No matter what, you have to do it. That is the minimum expected. Image, what other people think about you, how do you build your role model, and exposure. Exposure is critical. Exposure is something which is really needed. Since you guys are MBA students, I just want to ask you something. Okay. Out of 3, what is the percentage that you will allocate to these 3 criteria? When I say percentage, out of 100%, you have to tell me. I allocate performance for 50%, image for 20%, for example, exposure for. What is important for you? Why? So you have to tell me why. So what is the percent? Okay, you can do that. So what is the percentage you allocate for each? So you can see it.
So for exposure, I will allocate 60%, and for performance 20 and image 20.
Why?
Exposure because when I exposure 20, I can perform. When I perform, I will image myself.
Okay, great. It's a good point. Anybody else? Anybody have any other view? And there is no right or wrong here. Whatever you say is right. So, any view? Percentage? What? What do you allocate? The percentage wise.
Sir, I would like to give performance 60%, but performance is indispensable.
Okay.
And moreover, if there is a performance, then we get exposure. So through that we can build our personal brand. So
Okay. Great. Good. Different perspective. Anybody's view? Okay, fine. So even I thought that performance is important. Yeah, almost 5 years ago, but that has changed. Exposure is important. And the reason I tell you why exposure is important. Performance, no matter what, that is the least expected from you, you have to do it. Example, if you are doing an MBA, the expectation is to at least clear the exam. Irrespective of 80%, 90% or 50%, you have to complete your MBA certificate, right? Certification in 2 years. That is the minimum expected. That is the performance. You have to do it no matter what. If you want to survive in life, you have to do it. You have to eat to survive in life, right? That is the minimum expected and that is the performance. No matter what, you have to do it. Exposure is something, this whatever I am doing here, I am creating exposure for you. is what important. You got my point, right? You have 10 subjects, you are reading it on a daily basis, attending an exam and clearing the exam, sailing through, great. That is the expected. What is that you are doing beyond that? Your MBA is alone not going to help. MBA is just a ticket for you to get into any organization. But to survive with the organization, you need exposure. One, maybe, for example, just tell you communication. People who talk about here, this is an exposure. If they can talk here, they can talk in any organization, in any interview confidently. That's an exposure. If you are attending any conference, apart from your normal academic, if you are attending any competitions, that is an exposure. And this exposure is not an end. There is no end for this exposure. It's a never-ending process. Exposure, in other words, learning. Learning is never-ending process. I learn every day. Sir learn every day. Ma'am learn every day. So learning is a never-ending process, and that is an exposure. Okay. And image. If you are able to do both performance and exposure, your image will automatically. Yeah. Next slide. There is a percentage I am going to show. So our assumption, 60% of performance, 30% of exposure, and what are the percentage of image. But the reality, if you want to succeed, and she rightly mentioned, 60% of exposure, and the rest are performance, your image. Any questions? Now next question would be how to build that exposure. Correct? Sir, you talked about exposure, but what is exposure? What can I do? Give me some tips. Okay. So next slide we are going to talk about. Okay. So what drives your career? How you can create that exposure? What new people, perspective, group culture, example they quoted, which I already talked about. New network, committee, boards, job shadow. So I got new learning today, I got new network. I happened to meet sir, happened to meet ma'am. Now I got my network improved. That is exposure. You listen to my conversation, you got to know a few things. That is your exposure. Education. Your MBA is an education. So as I said, MBA is just a ticket to enter into any organization. So that is one of the drive for your career. Experience, you are doing extra. So MBA, you have 10 subjects, you are doing fantastic. But everybody talked about data scientist, data is evolving. So what is that you are doing in terms of learning data? Are you doing any external certification to enhance your knowledge? That comes with experience and education. When you get into any organization, if they interview you, you are going to talk about data, they say, wow. As a fresher, if you are talking about data by just getting certification, which is great. That is what expected from any organization, right? And environment, UT, coaching, mentoring, that you will get to know when you actually start your career. This is more of how you drive your career, starting from a fresher and then experienced. Any questions on this? We talk more about exposure, join network, committee, board. Okay, now I have some interesting question. Does everybody have account in Facebook? Everyone? Great. How many people have account in LinkedIn? Everyone? They are going to next level. Good.
We have made it.
Good. And how many are frequently seeing Facebook than LinkedIn? The time you spend in Facebook is high or LinkedIn is high? Genuinely. To be honest, if you ask me, I never had LinkedIn account in the past when I started my career. At that time, it was Orkut kind of some app, not even Facebook. But I spent only most on this social media and social networking. I only created my account last 10 years ago. That's the exposure I only got. But now the institutions are encouraging people to open LinkedIn account, which is a good sign, to be honest. The time you spend in LinkedIn, that gives you a lot of exposure, a lot of exposure. And now LinkedIn is one of the important tool for you to search the job. Then now maybe, but LinkedIn, any organization, irrespective of fresher or experience, they directly post it in LinkedIn. You can just go and see, you will have a lot of posts. That is my next agenda as well. Okay. If you don't have an account in LinkedIn, please open it. Not only opening it, but access to everything. It's like newspaper. If you want to read newspaper, you will get to know a lot of information, gain your knowledge. If you want to know about jobs, please use LinkedIn. I'm not promoting LinkedIn. I don't want the LinkedIn app, but I got benefit a lot of it. A lot of people got benefit out of it. So please use that. Now please one of the old tool which you can still use it, but LinkedIn is more helpful for anybody who searches for a job. Yeah, any questions? Before that, I thought I would quickly talk about the career tips that I am going to give you about interview and then how you can easily sail through that. I'm not going to give any theory, this is more of a practical experience which I had, few of my friends had. So any application, they look for a candidate, freshers, they come and interview you. I'm not sure what is the process here, sir. When an organization comes, do they do what they call it as group GD online assessment? Yeah. And then interview. And then aptitude interview. Okay. So most of the organization depends on the crowd. If they have good number of candidates, then they first go with group discussion. And no matter what, you have to open it. If you don't open up, you will not sail through. You are not able to talk it there, you won't be able to talk everywhere. And that's a golden opportunity. You have to use it. If you want to survive in your life, you have to use it. Yeah, if you have good background, good money, if you want to go on your own business, that's a different story altogether. But if your career is what you are trying, it's going to be your life, then group discussion is what you have to make it. It's an opportunity. Second, online assessment. Online assessment for aptitude test, aptitude and communication. Your academic would help to some extent, but you have to practice your online assessment, aptitude and communication almost on a daily basis from the day one you start your MBA. Then only you will be able to clear the assessment. If you don't clear the assessment, they will not consider it. In a very simple term, if you go to Google, just check online assessment for any organization, interviews, etc. You have n number of options. You have to go through each and every one. And primarily in the online assessment, they'll ask you about communication, English, and then aptitude, your analytical skills. In NatWest and most of the international banks, they go with the same format. There are a lot of tools that is available there for you to enhance knowledge, but online assessment is mandatory for freshers. Finally, interview. Interview, if you are able to basically talk about yourself, about your project, whatever the resume, without any hesitation, without any communication gap, that is fine. If you go through this GD and online assessment, interview is just like a cakewalk. Okay, any questions predominantly on interviews? I know you only have a year. I said only have a year. I don't say that you have a year. You only have a year. It's just like it passes through like anything. Okay? So start. If you're not started, please do start. Start working on it, especially on your personal development. Interviews, online skill assessments, aptitudes, that will really help you along with your academic. Okay, with that note, sir, I am done, but I am happy to take any questions if you feel that will be useful.
Mock interview.
Mock interview, I am just going to do an interview here in front of all of you. Don't hesitate, be confident.
Second year.
Or we'll do vice versa.
Yeah.
I'll be the candidate. Let me be the candidate. Okay? So you ask question. You can do anything.
So you get an opportunity, of course.
Yeah.
So like,
Come. Be confident. Solve your friends, all your own faces. Please come. Are you going to go the interviewer or interview?
I would like better to be the interviewer, sir.
Please take the opportunity. So only when you practice the talent will. So I have to ask question,
Yes.
right? Okay. You give the mic. Your good name?
Myself, Ram Kumar.
Ram, tell about yourself, Ram.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Myself, Ram Kumar. I've done my UG in Sri Shankar Arts and Science College near Kanchipuram, and I've done my MBA, currently pursuing MBA in Veltech Dept and Dr. Shakuntala Engineering College. So I'm currently doing project in HR through.
Your family background first.
Yes, sir. My family is a nuclear family, which my family is a middle class. So my father is a central government staff. He is doing as an MCM. So I'm having one brother. His name is Ram Bharat. He is very calm and he is very enthusiastic person. So he can mold me, which I couldn't do anything. So he will let me know to do much things better. So which I can hold his hand and I can go faster, which I need to go far.
You talk about HR project, right? You talk
Yes.
about more about what is the HR project and what is that you are doing now.
Yes, sir. I have done recruitment process. So many of the candidates we are which they are doing in bank sectors and they were doing any other sectors. So like that persons we just recruit them and we just giving their jobs to any other banks and everything.
You are selected.
Thank you so much.
I think this is more than enough for any fresher to sail through interview. He's very calm, cool, you know what is he talking, and he kind of predicted what is that I'm going to ask. Any interviewer they are going to ask whatever you have mentioned in the resume. They are not going to ask anything more. You need to prepare. You need to prepare for 10 questions and then keep on practicing. You will get it.